What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol GEVO for Gevo Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. You can see we already have our daily roadmap, and the candle in question, of course, is today's gap up. It faded throughout the entire course of the day. However, the gap did not fill entirely, so we want to know where that remainder of the gap exists. Zooming in a bit here, basically underneath today's low of day at 542, the gap would fill all the way to the high of Monday at 524. So not the biggest gap, but certainly still there in terms of the daily chart. So this level is no longer really important at the 558. It's all about the gap now underneath us. And we'll just take a closer look at the 30-minute. Before I zoom into the current action, I would just also point out that this resistance trend line right here, I'm not going to draw it in on the chart, but you can see that it actually has broken and we've closed above that. We're also starting to use the back test here as a little bit of support. So just something to keep in mind. Again, it's not like a huge piece of technical information that we need to know. But zooming in, what I do think is more important is kind of the activity from today's session. So big gap up, we knew that, but it faded the entire day. And how did we close? I would argue relatively weak, right? We definitely start to form this little bit of an H pattern here on the 30-minute session. Let's take out our Fibonacci's, come in from the high of the day down to the low. And what you'll notice is that this is a perfect back test of your 38.2 Fibonacci. Any close underneath is seen as weak. Any consolidation that happens underneath the 38.2 is generally seen as bear flag consolidation. So that's really what you're watching out for in this stock. Does this turn into bear flag consolidation? And if so, a breakdown of the lows fills the gap. And then anything underneath that, it's really about this shelf of support from in here at $4.86. Based on the amount of sell side volume that hit the stock today, I really wouldn't be surprised if this does resume its daily downtrend. I mean, you can clearly see it's been falling out of range for quite some time. If you look at all of this, overhead supply. So, people are not excited, but sort of looking for that out here. And obviously on the gap up from today, a majority of people, I would assume from this section of the chart up here, did start, trying to get out at break even or just mitigating some losses. And that leads to that sell side effect. I mean, if you think about what the broad market did today, it was basically straight up and then sideways into the close. This was almost the exact opposite, right? Straight down and sideways into the close. So that to me is a sign that these are just people getting out of positions here, probably all of these people from in here as we discussed. So the chart doesn't look phenomenal for any more upside. The only way that I would really want to get involved long on this stock would be if we can recapture the 38.2 and maybe see a retracement through this very thin structure, to be quite honest with you, into tomorrow's session or the very next days, right? Anyone who's essentially late to the party here trying to short the stock for lower, if we take out that 38.2, that's the obvious place where a stop loss would go, correct? Over the bounce high. So those people start to cover their shorts. Maybe you get a little bit of a squeeze. And again, I use that word very carefully here, just added buying pressure that does retrace this very poor structure right here back up towards the highs. Again, that's the only instance where I could really be looking for a long inside of Gevo. So that's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.